What it do, YouTube? It's SS, and I'm back with another video on this one right here. And this one right here. Well, let me tell you about this one. This one, I actually ended up making a team that I actually thought was doing really good. I ended up getting my season high, I do believe, on this site. Well, with this team, and then today on Twitch, as this video will be going on the 16th. Today on Twitch, I actually ended up getting my new season high, which the video would be going out on Friday. But today, we are actually going to look at the team that did give me my first season high, and then we'll see a different video tomorrow. A really strong team. But either way, we're gonna see that Guzzlord is gonna go ahead and farm us down completely. And once again, these battles were done on Twitch, so if you do want to go follow or watch them in real time, as they do happen, link in the description. Um, and then they come into a Charjabug and they just end up top left and GG's. We're gonna go ahead and take that game. Now we are gonna go ahead and see Charjabug into Wishcash, and this is kind of bad for the Charjabug. Wishcash does end up winning this, but they do actually end up letting me sneak a move in. I do get to the X scissor. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the X scissor right away, and then once again back to back. So I'm just gonna go throw right away. I didn't get the debuff, I don't think. So just gonna go ahead and keep farming up. They mud bomb. I think I might be able to live it, but they do go for the skull, so which is okay with me. So now I can go ahead and come in with my Credilli, start getting the farm, and now they are gonna go ahead and scold me. It's kind of bad, but they do get the debuff on me, which is kind of not good for me. And we kind of needed alignment so I could have Palisand up against this Vigoroth, but they are staying in, which is kind of weird. After seeing the Credilli, and now they are forced to give me the shield, and now they're gonna come into a Charjabug. The Charjabug is farming up. I don't know if it has crunch. If it has crunch, it might be in a bad position. But they do let the first Scorching Sand go through. Scorching Sand did not get the debuff, so it's kind of bad and unfortunate. Well, I guess it's unfortunate for me. We are gonna be able to make the next Scorching Sand. This one does not get the debuff either. I'm gonna start to go ahead and uh, start shielding up here because I am running out of health, and then I am gonna go ahead and try to make a catch here, which I do end up making a catch. So we do end up sacking the Credilli, and now because Credilli at this point, I didn't really need Credilli because I can just safely shield this, where I don't even have to shield this to be honest. But just in case they do have the bulldoze, and we are going to be able to make it to Scorching Sand. I think that was on CMP tie, and we're going to be able to KO the Vigoroth, and we're going to be able to take that game. I do believe this is like 3 sets, so a little bit longer video. As we do see Mantine into the Charjabug, and this is really good for the Charjabug. They do switch out into a Trevenant. Trevenant is kind of weird and awkward for this team because I don't really have an answer to it. And then we do end up seeing P in here. I probably should let this go through, but I do end up shielding it and calling it correctly, and that is the Shadow Ball. So now at this point, they are going to give me a shield back as well. And I'm gonna try to overfarm here, and I do go for the extra because at this point I'm thinking that maybe I can shield and then just farm down completely, which I do end up doing here. So I am gonna come out loaded with a lot of energy. We're gonna see what they want to come into. It's a Venusaur, and they do end up catching on their Mantine, which is really good catch for them. But unfortunately for them, I am still gonna make it to another discharge. This charge is going to be enough to KO. They come back into the Venusaur. Venusaur is going to have to shield this at the X's at this point. Well, they didn't really have to, but they do end up shielding it. And now I am going to try to make a catch here, and I do end up catching. And for some reason, the opponent ends up throwing a Sludge Bomb. So we end up catching a Sludge Bomb, a resisted Sludge Bomb on a Ghost type, which is kind of cool for us. Now they do go for the Frenzy there, and now I am at the Rock Slide, so I'm going to throw the Rock Slide, do one to throw. I'm gonna try to make it to the next one, hoping that this Frenzy doesn't KO. But once again, they go for the Sludge Bomb, and I'm not too sure. They do quit as I do make it to the move, and now we are going to be able to take that game, as we are going to be able to hop into the next battle. We're going to see Charjabug into Vigoroth, and it depends on how you want to play this matchup. Usually, I just want to end up playing the zeros. I don't really shield my Charjabug. If I can get shield advantage, then even better for me. They are gonna go ahead and CMP me or cap time me on the next X scissor, which I probably should win for the extra to be honest at that point. But either way, they are gonna go ahead and let that go through. They're gonna come into Wish Cash, and Wish Cash is not gonna see my Credility, but that Wish Cash does have a lot of energy that they are going to throw here. I am gonna shield just in case it is the Blizzard. I might have miscounted, I don't know. But either way, now I do believe this is just gonna be another skull. So I am gonna go ahead and let this go through. Even if I am debuffed, it's still gonna be doing a lot of damage at this point. Should be KOing regardless. I do make it to another grass knot. At this point, the rival does have to make a decision here. They do end up throwing up the next protect shield, and now I had to make a decision here, but I let it go through. And I'm hoping that they don't end up trying to catch here and they don't try to catch, which lets me get to this grass. Now we are going to be able to KO. Now I am going to be able to switch. At this point, I need this Quagsire not to have Aqua Tail. If it has Aqua Tail, then it might be in a bad position. But either way, I do believe that was just the Mud Bomb, and we are going to make it to the Scorching Sands. And now I am going to shield up here. As we do see this Gangsta Quagsire with the beanie. Looked like it came from robbing a liquor store or something. But either way, we are going to be able to take that game. And we're going to hop into the next battle. We're going to see, once again, Vigoroth into the Charjabug. And we're just going to keep playing it the same way, I do believe. This time, these people don't throw or they don't yeah, they don't throw, so I'm just gonna throw back to back since I am at back to back. Don't expect them to CMP me since I am gonna do that. I expect them to think that I'm gonna go for one. And now at this point, if they kill for body slam, I am just gonna let this go through because I do live it, I do believe. But for some reason, this one's gonna be able to actually KO. Oh, because they did give me the shield. Now they do switch out of the Vigoroth. I was trying to farm down with my Pallet Sand, and now, unfortunately for me, they are going to come into the Skarmory. I am going to shield here. And no, it's not Brave Bird, but I am going to go ahead and shield. At this point, I do believe I could have probably went Scorching Sands, but I am going to go for the Shadow Ball. Knowing that it's going to be enough to KO, they do let it go through. At this point, we're going to see what they have in the back. In the back, they have a Pelipper, and this is not looking good for me, so I am going to have to figure out some type of win con. They do let it go through. Now I'm going to go ahead and let this go through as I do swap out into my Credility. Credility is going to get hit with a weather ball. They do switch out and do a CMP sack, a very nice CMP sack by the opponent. And now I am going to be able to get this Rock Slide off. I do charge it all the way because I want it to be gone. At this point, I'm just going to go ahead and let this go through. I do believe a Weather Ball, I should be able to live. I do one Bullet Seed and then throw the Rock Slide. This Rock Slide should be getting the next Protect Shield, which it does. I do switch out immediately, hoping that I can make it to the move here before this Pelipper makes it to the next Weather Ball. But unfortunately for me, it does make it to the Weather Ball, and they are going to be able to wing attack my Credility before we even get a Bullet Seed off of damage. And we are going to actually end up losing that game to go 4-1 with this team. And now I do believe the next set I do go 3-2, maybe 4-1, something like that. All I know is that I had pretty positive sets with these next few teams that I'm gonna show you guys. And now I am gonna see Charjabug into the Lantern. Lantern is actually can actually put a fight in the zeros depending on how you want to play this out. And I am gonna go ahead and throw X's. I do end up playing it differently in other scenarios. This time I do believe this is probably the first time that I saw a Lantern in the lead. And I do believe this is a CMP tie. So and I kinda should have swapped out because I do have two answers to this Lantern. Almost three. I would say 2.5, counting Charjabug. But this time I am going to be able to shield and then farm down completely. They are going to come out to a Gliscor. Gliscor is going to be able to get hit with this X Scissor. I do end up saving one X Scissor swap out. And at this point, I do believe I can go straight Rock Slide. I'm going to go ahead and let this go through. If it's the Earthquake, then so be it. And now they end up swapping out into a Vigoroth. And now this Vigoroth, actually, because they shielded as well, is giving me a win con. So I am going to go ahead and go for the Grass Knot. Now that they ended up shielding, they do double shield, which is really good for me now. And I barely end up making it to the Rock Slide. This Rock Slide is going to do kind of some good damage, putting it in range where I can hopefully farm it down completely with the Palisand and come out with almost two moves. I do believe I can come out with two Scorching Sands if I do farm down completely. We're going to see what I do here. And I do believe I am going to go ahead and shield because they did swap into their Gliscor, and I am going to throw the Shadow Ball here. They are going to go ahead and get KO'd. They come back into the Vigoroth, and the Vigoroth just ends up top left. And we're going to be able to take that game as we do hop into the next battle. We're going to see Charjabug into Talonflame, and this could go either way, but to be honest, I think it favors the Talonflame a little bit more than the Charjabug. I am gonna go for the X Scissor, expecting them to shield, and now I do instantly swap into my Credilli as they do swap into Trevenant, and now I am gonna go for the Rock Slide, hoping to go on very good timing. And this time I am gonna shield, throwing up the Protect Shield, hoping this is a Shadow Ball, but it's not the Shadow Ball. It is a bait. It is the Seed Bomb. I do make it to the next Rock Slide. I do get the shield. Now, at this point, I am going to go ahead and throw the next Protect Shield, even if it is the Seed Bomb. Just going to go ahead and farm up by two Bullet Seeds. Not counting, I don't know how much energy they had. I thought it was safe enough to do two Bullet Seeds and then KO, as they do come into their Talonflame, and Talonflame is going to be able to actually knock out my Credilli. Credilli is going to go down now. At this point, I have to make a very strong decision, and I make a very bad decision here, letting the Charjabug go down. And now I am going to try to make it to a move. I do make it to the move. Actually, I don't know what's the outcome of this battle. We're gonna see. And oh, unfortunate for us, there is a grass type in the back, and we're just gonna end up losing this. So either way, it didn't really matter. We had no play. I needed to keep the Charjabug alive. Maybe if I did that, maybe. Now we're gonna see Charjabug into a Licky Tongue, and Licky Tongue can actually end up winning this matchup. Hoping I can end up sneaking a move here, but I don't believe I did. The Licky Tongue is gonna go ahead and throw the body slam. I am at two X scissors, so I am gonna do one volt switch to then throw, and it looks like this time it is the cap tie. So now hoping it's not the cap tie, but it is the cap tie. So now I have to make a decision, and I go ahead and let it go through, hoping I can make it to another X scissor, but they get the farm down, and now I do believe they're super close to a body slam here. So I am gonna go ahead and let this go through. Farming down with Credilli. Credilli is gonna get the farm down. No, they're not, because they are gonna switch out into this um Clown Sire is going to get hit with the Grass Knot. They are going to go ahead and let it go through. Now I'm going to switch out into my Power Sand, start shielding here. And now this should put it in range where, one, Scorching Sands should be good enough. They are up on energy here, so it could get a little bit tough. Hoping I can get the debuff here, Attack Fall. And now I am going to go ahead and shield again, because I don't expect them to shield to bait. And they are going to go ahead and throw the Earthquake. Now I do try to make it to back-to-back moves here. I do believe I am at back-to-back moves. And if I am, I'm gonna go ahead and cap tie them, which they do end up doing, and now their Pokemon goes down with a lot of energy. They do end up coming out into a Galarian Zapdos, and this Galarian Zapdos is, oh, I was like hoping that they wouldn't swap out. I even paused. I don't know if you guys see that, and they still end up making the catch, which kind of crazy. Then I end up trying to make a catch here, which kind of looks like I do end up making a catch, but kind of weird. They do end up throwing the Ancient Power here, and now I am gonna go ahead and throw the Rock Slide here. It's not gonna be enough to KO. They do farm down, but I am at the Scorching Sands. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Scorching Sands, hoping this is enough to KO, and it's gonna be enough to KO, and we're gonna be able to take that game. Almost a game that we almost lost. I don't know. It looked like I was throwing the game, but once again, we're gonna see Vigoroth into the Charjabug, and now I guess we're gonna play it the same way. So this person is gonna go ahead and throw him very good timing. So I am gonna go ahead and let this go through. This time they do throw the right sign, and I'm at two X's or so. Either they're gonna go ahead and let this go through and let me win the zeros, or they are gonna go ahead and shield this, which in this case they do end up shielding, and then they end up throwing energy, which is really good for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through. Come into my pound sand, and now I am gonna go straight for the farm down. At this point, they are gonna throw move here. Usually they throw body slam, some throw rock slide, but I've seen a lot of them throw body slam for some reason, and they are gonna switch out into a lantern, and I'm like, what? Why would they switch out into a lantern? This is a really bad matchup for the lantern, and now we are going to be able to throw the next move. I'm going to switch out since I have a better answer to the lantern. surfs are not super effective on the Credilli, unlike the Palossand, and now they are gonna throw a move, and it's kind of lagging here. I'm not too sure what's going on here, so I'm hoping I don't end up losing the game. But guess what? Spoiler alert: the game froze, and you guys know I take it off the Wi-Fi, put it back on the Wi-Fi, and at this point, I'm trying everything, and I know already at this point that yeah, no, this game's over. So I end up exiting out the app, go back in, and at this point I already know how it's gonna go. So as you guys are gonna be able to see me here, catch some some Pokemon, and if you guys like the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna go ahead and say that right now since I am gonna spend my time, my sweet little time here catching Pokemon, and you guys are gonna see that once I do go back into GBL. I am gonna end up getting the error and I am gonna take a loss. So unfortunate for us, we are never gonna know if we were gonna actually win that battle or not. Um, but I do believe we were in a pretty good position, but I guess we will never find out as we are struggling to catch this Combi. We finally end up catching the Combi. Do get the little bit of Stardust here. Now we're gonna look around. We're gonna see a little Wurmple. We're gonna catch the Wurmple with an Ultra Ball for some reason. Not too sure why we're using Ultra Balls on a Wurmple, but you know what? Whatever. Now I do end up seeing this Himo Chan. My bad, not top, but Chan. Do end up catching it for the little XL Swaddle. And at this point, I'm still throwing Ultra Balls. I don't know why I'm throwing Ultra Balls at Swaddle, but you know, it is what it is. And now we're gonna go back into GBL and we're gonna get the error out and we're gonna end up losing the game. But now hopping into the next battle, we're gonna see the same matchup, and this time can we redeem ourselves? They end up swapping out into a Sableye. And Sableye, since the one turn swap, I should be able to deny a Shadow Claw here as if I throw first, which I do end up throwing first. Now I do have to make a decision here. Do I end up throwing up the Protect Shield? I do end up throwing the Protect Shield. Now I'm gonna throw the next X Scissor as I do make it, and now they are going to go ahead and throw a move here. I'm gonna go ahead and shield, double shield, because I can just farm down completely the Palossand. Super hard walls the Vigoroth, but we're gonna see that there's a Gliscor that comes into the matchup now, and this is kind of looking really bad. But they do let it go through. We are down a shield. Now I am gonna come into my Credilli, hoping that I can live a move here, and we're gonna see what they throw. They throw the Night Slash, maybe hoping they can get the boost. They end up throwing the next move. It is the Earthquake. I end up banking it, switching out immediately into my Palisand. They swap out into the Vigoroth. Vigoroth is gonna get hit with the Scorching Sands. Can we get the debuff? No, we don't get the debuff. And at this point, I had the decision to make. Do I go straight for the farm down completely, or do I end up throwing the move here? And we're gonna see what I do. I do end up throwing the move. I do think this is probably CMP. I tried to undercharge it, but the undercharge was not good enough. But the Scorching Sands, we are going to make it to the Scorching Sands, and they are going to go ahead and let it go through, knowing that we do have a move on the Credilli, and they need to make it the two moves, and we're going to go 3-2 on this next set, and I do believe on this final set, we do go 4-1. So if you guys are liking the battle, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz, as we I have noticed that we got 1K on the videos, which is really cool. That's probably like one of the highest uh, viewer counts on videos that I have. So that's pretty cool, especially considering that I have not made videos in a long time. We are gonna go ahead and throw the X scissor as we are back to back once again, and they don't shield, which is okay with me. I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through. If it is the mud bomb, I do believe we can live it, but unfortunately for us, it is not the mud bomb. So I am gonna come into my Credilli, start getting this farm down. They switch out into a Tentacruel, and I already know what the team is, but I don't believe I knew what the team was at the beginning. I do believe this is the first time I played the team, and I ended up losing to the team. I think. Spoiler alert. We're gonna see though. I do end up throwing the grass down here, switch out instantly into my Pound Sand, hoping I can make it to the move. Now I do keep the shields for the Pound Sand, and we are going to start shielding up here. They do end up throwing the Scold. We do get the debuff, which is not really good for us, but we are going to go ahead and throw the Scorching Sand here. They are going to go ahead and let it go through. They come into the Wish Cache, and I'm hoping at this point that they end up letting go, but they don't. They end up shielding it, and now I have to shield this, and I'm hoping that they don't make it to a move before I get to a move, and they don't make it to a move, and whatever was in the bag, they end up top left in, and we're gonna end up actually taking that game. As we are gonna hop into the next battle once again, we are going to see Vigoroth into the Charjabug, and I am going to overfarm here just a little bit, but I think this overfarm might have ended up making me struggle with this matchup because I shouldn't have did that. I should have just instantly swapped immediately into the Palisand, and we are going to get the debuff this time though. Now I do have to make another decision, and I am going to go ahead and throw the Protect Shield, and I'm gonna overfarm here, hoping I can get the CMP time, the cap time, but I don't get the cap time. Either way, we are gonna go ahead and take that down. They are gonna switch out into their own castle, their own palisade, and I am gonna go ahead and bait. And now I do make it to the shadow ball. And this time, are they gonna go ahead and shield? They don't shield, which is really good for me. Now they have a Vigoroth in the back, and this Vigoroth is gonna have a horrible time going up against this Palisand. They do end up shielding. I switch out into my Charjabug, and I kept alive. Palisand. Palisand is just gonna go ahead and KO this Vigoroth is just so low at this point. As I do make it to another X Scissor, they can KO my Charjabug. It doesn't matter at this point. But I do believe that one Volt Switch is going to be enough to KO. And we're going to be able to take that game and hop into the next battle. We're going to see Charjabug into Skarmory, and this is really good for the Charjabug as they do end up swapping out. I come into the Credility. I am a little slow with the swap. They are going to throw the Stone Edge, which is fine with me. I do make it to the Grass Knot here, throw right away, and they are going to go ahead and let it go through, which is fine with me. Now, at this point, I do expect them to come back into with Skarmory. They're going to go ahead and get a lot of farm here, which is fine, but I'm going to make sure that I am throwing on good timing, throwing on 5 bullet seeds of mine, and this time I am going to throw on bad timing because expecting that one steel wing that went through the KO, and it does. And I take it off the Wi-Fi just in case. And now at this point, I am gonna go ahead and let this go through, knowing that it is the Brave Bird, and they are gonna switch out into a Whimsicott. And this is looking a little bit tough for me. I do end up getting the shield here. I try to go ahead and go for the next move. Looks like this might have been cap tie, so I am gonna go ahead and shield this. Might have been a dumb shield, but we're gonna go ahead and shield and see. And now I do go ahead and switch out immediately, hoping I can make it to a move here, hoping I can get the debuff here. And now I am gonna overfarm here, expecting them to shield this at this point, hoping that I can get the debuff as well. And I don't believe I got it. Now I need to live this move here and hope that they don't end up swapping and catching on this move. And as you guys see me, I do end up pausing. I do end up throwing a move still, and we are going to be able to KO there. I do make it to the Scorching Sands, and this is going to be enough to KO this Whimsicott, and we're going to be able to take that game as we do hop into the next battle. I do believe there's probably like 1 or 2 more battles left, and we're going to see Lantern into our Charjabug and Charjabug. Once again, it depends on how you want to play this. I usually play it in the zeros, or I might end up playing this right now. I might swap out, and I do end up swapping out, and I wish I would have waited to see what they swapped out into because I would have ended up putting the Palisand up against this Vigoroth, and unfortunately for me, now I do have it lined up against my Credility, which is the worst matchup that I do have. And now I am going to go ahead and let this go through, hoping that I can come into with this Palisand and get all this farm. I'm going to try to farm them down completely. We're going to see. I might end up trying to farm down completely. I think that might be my only win con, trying to come out with a lot of energy because I know that I can take a lot of moves here, and they do end up swapping out into a Talonflame, and I end up throwing, which I make a mistake, and now, but I do end up getting to a Scorching Sands here at this point. I do expect them to shield, and they do end up shielding. Now I am going to go ahead and shield as well because I'm thinking I can make it to another move here, and I do make it to the next move, the next Scorching Sands. Do they want to shield? And they don't want to shield, which is really good for me. So now we're gonna see what they do end up coming back out. Do they come into the into the Vigoroth, or did he come into the lantern? And it is the lantern. So I'm going to go ahead and throw both my X scissors here at this point. Sacking the Charjabug, knowing that my win con is the Palisand. So I'm just going to go ahead and let this go through. And we do end up getting KO'd by the Vigoroth, but unfortunate for the Lantern, we do have a shield here. For the Palisand, we're going to be able to make it to a Scorching Sands and end up winning this game. As we do see the Charjabug into a Mantine, and they end up swapping out into a Bombstone. And Bombstone was pretty much a core breaker here, so I do have to stay here, and they are going to go ahead and let the first move go through. So I'm expecting them not to have Icy Wind here, and we're going to see that they do end up throwing Icy Wind. I'm not too sure. Could have been Weather Ball. I'm not too sure, but either way, they do end up shielding this next move. I do get a move for free, and I do believe I'm gonna go ahead and shield as well. Under tap and throw the move, hoping that now at this point I can farm down. No, they end up letting it go through, which is good for me. I tried to make it to the discharge and I don't make it to the discharge, but unfortunate for them, I end up having this Credilli for the main team, and I do end up making it to the rock slide before they make it to the ice beam. Not sure why they didn't throw the ice beam right away, but that's fine with me. I'm gonna go ahead and let this go through. Oh, they are running water posts, and I expected them to make a catch there, but they don't make a catch, which is okay with me. They come out into a decision why now this is looking really bad. I should have actually ended up swapping out instantly here, and they end up throwing here. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and let this go through, and I need to make it to 2 moves here before they end up KOing me. And actually, yeah, we end up losing this because what I should have did was instantly swapped out to the Palisand, hoping I can get to 2 moves before they could make it to 2 moves. And unfortunately for me, I am gonna go ahead and end up losing that one. I do believe that was a 4-1 once again. If you guys liked the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good jazz, and I will see you guys on the next video. As you guys will see my season high right here, and I will see you guys on the next video.